What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Buffalo Bills defense before we play against them. This is definitely another dangerous group. Like, their offense is really good, but so is their defense. Starting off with their defensive line, which is insane. This is the big threat to the Bills' defense. They have some pretty good defensive backs and everything like that. Looks like Tre'Davious White is out. That's interesting. But the big threat for them is their defensive line because they're able to get really good pass rush with just 4 down linemen, which is a big threat because that means that they can have 7 people dropping back into coverage, which is that's an issue. So Greg Rousseau is a pretty good pass rusher. Von Miller is obviously amazing. And even after that, they have some pretty good guys. AJ Epinesa and I know him as Carlos Basham. I love both of them coming out the draft. We know Shaq Lawson pretty well. He's a pretty good edge rusher as well. Ed Oliver, really, really solid 3-tech. Daquan Jones is a good nose tackle. Jordan Phillips is pretty solid. I know Dolphins fans kind of hate him, but he is talented at least, and he can definitely fill in when he needs to. So it is definitely a problem. And they have some pretty good linebackers as well. Tremaine Edmonds, Terrell Bernard. Like they got guys. Matt Milano. Like they have plenty of guys. They do have quite a few injuries in their D-back core. Like Tre'Davious White isn't playing, but they have some banged up safeties and another corner in Dane Jackson. That's interesting. They do have Kyer Elam as well. That's the thing. I know he did get beat out by the undrafted guy or whatever, but still a thing. Okay. Let's go. And like I said, the Bills' defense was already really, really a threat, and then they add Von Miller to it, and it's just... but like I said, they can get a lot of pressure with just 4 down linemen, and their linebackers are pretty solid, too, as far as the run game goes. I do think that we are going to have to get some sort of running success going because if you let, Ed Oliver, Von Miller, Greg Rousseau, if you just let them pin their ears back and just pass rush all day, we're going to be in for a rough day. This play is super fucking... Oh, there it goes. Clears up a little bit. That's nice. Like I said, they really don't have to blitz much. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't blitz, because they absolutely will at times. But they don't do it much, because they don't have to. It's an interesting discussion. If any of you have ever played like quarterback at like the college or high school level or even NFL, I don't know. Who might be watching? Who the fuck knows? But if you've played quarterback at any level, I have not. I'd like to just know, like in your opinion, what is more difficult to deal with? A defense like the Dolphins, where we're gonna throw a bunch of different looks at you, or like the Patriots or whatever. Or we're going to do 3-4 looks, 4-3 looks, like big nickel, the zero blitzes, like we just throw a bunch of different things at you. Is that more difficult where we're having to like sub people out? Or is something like the Bills defense or like the Legion of Boom Seahawks, where they're pretty much, you pretty much know what they're going to do. You pretty much know where all their stars are going to line up, but they're just really, really good at what they do. I'd be curious to kind of hear that perspective of which one is kind of harder to deal with. Because they both present different problems. Like, the Bills don't really do a whole lot of disguising. Like, they will move their safeties around and stuff a little bit. But for the most part, you know what they're doing. It's just whether or not you can actually do anything about it. Like, they're doing 2 deep safeties. They're doing some press coverage. They will back them up a little bit. 4 down linemen. One thing I'll be curious to check out is when we get to the Titans film, when they were blowing out the Titans. I might look at like the third quarter or something. If they started to maybe blitz a little bit more because they know that they're going to have to pass. Von Miller's so fantastic. That Rams left tackle's bad though as well. That's the other thing is, like, look at all those Bills helmets around the ball. Like, I talk about this in my Dolphins film sessions when I'm looking at our defense. One of my favorite features of the Dolphins defense is that we're always running to the football, and that's something that the Bills have in common with us. It's telling of a good defense. I'm going to jump to like the third quarter. Jump to this drive. See if anything looks different. Oh, I went to the Bills' offense for some reason. No, I need to look at the Rams' offense. So I can see the Bills' defense. Still 2 deep safeties. They have, backed their corners up a little bit. But see, here's what I'm talking about. For the most part, we've seen a lot of 2 deep safety looks. And the corners have either been in press or they've given space. But here's what I'm talking about. They do sometimes move their safeties. Like, they're kind of making this look like a bit of a cover 4. But what's actually going to happen is Micah Hyde is going to come down into the box. And the free safety is going to move over here. And he's going to be the single high safety. And this ends up actually being a cover 3. The Bills will do that. And again, they can do all these things because they don't have to blitz. And even when they're like rotating their guys, they still have a lot of depth. Now, just because they're not blitzing doesn't mean that they're just going to run everybody forward. Like, they will do, like, gap exchanges like here. Like this little stunt. They will absolutely run gap exchanges at you. And don't be surprised if we get a lot of gap exchanges up the middle against us. They're probably going to want to try to take advantage of the fact that Connor Williams hasn't played center for very long. Like I said, just running to the football. The mark of a great defense. And solid tackling. All right, let's take a look at the Titans film a little bit. Let's go, I don't know. Let's go to the third quarter. We have 5. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's on the tight end. Okay. He does go to set the edge pretty well. That's interesting. That Kaiir Elam? Well, I guess because they were blowing them out, they probably did put in some of their backups. That would make sense. But once again, they're still just having 4 down linemen. Like I said, there isn't a whole lot schematically to the Bills. So this isn't even disguise. This is just a straight up cover 3. Actually, this is a man coverage thing, I think. Is it? No, it's cover 3. They do mostly zone. They will sprinkle in a little bit of man coverage just to keep you honest. But they do play mostly zone. A lot of cover 2, a lot of cover 3. Mostly cover 3. Well, actually kind of a mixture. So this is once again them disguising their safeties. They're making this look like a cover 2. Or a man zone type deal. Actually, it is. So when I was saying that they do man coverage, this is an example of it. But they do play a lot of zone. And I would too if you're going to get the pass rush that you get. We'll watch a couple more plays. Like they made, Tannehill step up and scramble again just with their 4 down linemen. No need for blitzing. And they will move Von Miller around too to different sides. Like, don't be surprised if we see him on, the defense's left side a lot, so our right. They're probably going to want to put him against against Greg Little. But look at that. Within that time, there's 6 Bills in the vicinity, like running to the football. Because once again, you're also able to have 7 defenders back there. Because you don't have to blitz. But like I said, schematically, there's not really a whole lot to see. The big thing for the Bills is just their roster. Like, they have a really stacked roster. Their coaches and, management and everything like that, they've built a really good roster for themselves. And that's what's really hard to contend with. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, appreciate hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.